When we speak about intelligence, many people immediately think of knowledge, memory, or the ability to solve complex problems. But true intelligence goes far beyond this. It is not only about how much you know, but also about how you live, how you act, and how you relate to the world. A highly intelligent woman does not need to announce her wisdom. Her habits quietly reveal it in the way she carries herself, in the way she makes decisions, and in the way she uplifts the people around her. In the shaolin tradition, we say that the inner world always shapes the outer world. This means that habits of the mind and heart are what truly determine the path of life. A woman of intelligence is not measured by achievements alone, but by the discipline, awareness, and harmony she cultivates within herself. Today, let us walk through the habits of a highly intelligent woman. Each habit is not something extraordinary, but rather something deeply practical, rooted in self-awareness and discipline. If understood and applied, these habits can guide any of us, man or woman, towards living with greater clarity, strength, and wisdom. Clarity of thought is the first sign of true intelligence. A highly intelligent woman understands that the mind is like water. When it is still, it reflects clearly, but when it is disturbed, it distorts everything around it. She knows that most of life's challenges do not come from the outside world, but from the confusion and noise within. And so, she cultivates the habit of mindfulness, of pausing before reacting, of observing her thoughts before letting them turn into decisions. This habit gives her strength, not because she knows everything, but because she knows how to see things as they are, without unnecessary illusion. In daily life, this habit shows itself in the smallest details. When difficulties appear, she does not allow panic to control her. Instead, she takes a breath, looks at the situation from different perspectives, and chooses the most balanced path. For her, clarity does not mean the absence of problems, but the ability to see through the fog of emotion and distraction to find what really matters. Many people rush through decisions, moved by anger, fear, or pride, and later regret their choices. But she has trained herself to delay the impulse, to question her own mind, and to act only after her heart and intellect have reached alignment. This clarity also shapes the way she learns. An intelligent woman knows that not all knowledge is wisdom, and not all voices deserve equal space in her mind. In a world overflowing with information, she filters carefully, absorbing only what serves her growth and the well-being of others. She does not waste energy chasing gossip, trivial arguments, or meaningless comparisons. Instead, she reads, listens, and reflects with purpose. Her clarity allows her to separate what is essential from what is unnecessary, so that her time and energy remain focused on what brings real value. Clarity of thought is not something she was born with. It is something she practices every day. Just like a garden, the mind must be tended. Negative thoughts, doubts, and distractions are like weeds, and if ignored, they quickly take over. The intelligent woman understands this, and so she returns again and again to practices that center her mind, perhaps meditation, journaling, or even simple silence. By creating moments of stillness, she sharpens her vision, so that when life presents her with choices, she can recognize which path leads to harmony and which leads to suffering. Because of this clarity, people naturally trust her. Her advice carries weight, not because she speaks loudly, but because her words are born from stillness and understanding. She does not try to impress others with complicated explanations. Instead, she simplifies, guiding others to see the essence of a situation. In her presence, confusion becomes order and chaos becomes manageable. This is the quiet power of clarity. and it is a habit that marks the life of every highly intelligent woman. Discipline is the invisible structure that shapes the life of a highly intelligent woman. Many people misunderstand discipline as something restrictive, as if it takes away freedom. But in truth, discipline is the very foundation of freedom. Without it, life falls into disorder and energy is wasted on distractions and impulses. A highly intelligent woman recognizes that her mind and body are connected, and by cultivating discipline in her daily routine, she creates harmony within herself and stability in her path forward. Every day she makes choices, and these choices shape her destiny. The habit of discipline teaches her that success is not built in one great moment, but in the consistency of small, repeated actions. She does not wait for motivation to appear before she acts. Instead, she knows that motivation follows discipline, not the other way around. She commits to her practices, whether it is waking up early, dedicating time to learning, or maintaining her health, because she understands that each disciplined step is an investment in her future self. An intelligent woman's routine is not about rigid control, but about creating order that supports her growth. She organizes her time with awareness, balancing her responsibilities, her relationships, and her inner life. When others become slaves to their habits of distraction, spending hours scrolling, comparing, or complaining, she uses her time wisely, placing her energy into activities that align with her purpose. This discipline gives her an edge, not because she does more, but because she does what matters most. Discipline also teaches her patience. In a world that craves instant results, she accepts that real growth takes time. She is not shaken when things do not happen immediately. Just as a tree grows slowly but steadily, her disciplined actions create results that last. Whether it is building knowledge, improving her health, or strengthening her relationships, she approaches everything with consistency. She understands that the strongest foundations are built brick by brick, day after day, but perhaps the deepest power of discipline lies in self-mastery. The intelligent woman knows that the greatest battle is not with others but with herself. Her impulses, her laziness, her doubts, these are the enemies she must overcome daily. And discipline is the weapon she uses. Each time she keeps a promise to herself, she strengthens her confidence and self-respect. This creates inner alignment where her thoughts, words, and actions move in the same direction. Such harmony allows her to walk through life with stability, no matter what storms come her way. To those who watch from the outside, her discipline may seem like sacrifice, but she does not see it this way. She knows that saying no to distractions is saying yes to her higher purpose. She embraces her routine not as a burden, but as a path to clarity, freedom, and strength. In this way, her discipline becomes not only a habit, but also a form of wisdom, guiding her life with intention and balance. Continuous learning is one of the most defining qualities of a highly intelligent woman. She understands that knowledge is not a destination but a journey, and wisdom is something that deepens through humility and openness. While many people stop learning once formal education ends, she treats life itself as her greatest classroom. Every experience, whether joyful or painful, every person she meets, and every challenge she faces becomes an opportunity to expand her understanding. She does not cling to the illusion of already knowing enough, because she realizes that such pride closes the door to growth. Instead, she remains curious, receptive, and ready to be transformed by learning. This habit of learning shows itself in her attitude. She listens more than she speaks, and when she speaks, it is with depth because her words are born from reflection and awareness. She is not afraid to admit when she does not know something, for she understands that ignorance is not shameful. It is only the refusal to learn that leads to weakness. By humbling herself in this way, she creates endless room for improvement. Her curiosity becomes her guide, leading her to books, conversations, experiences, and practices that nourish her mind and spirit. The intelligent woman knows that learning is not limited to theories or academics. It includes emotional growth, understanding human behavior, and developing practical skills that enhance life. For example, she learns from failure. Instead of seeing mistakes as final, she views them as teachers. Each failure becomes feedback, showing her what to refine and how to move forward more wisely. She does not waste energy blaming circumstances or people. Instead, she asks herself, "What can I learn from this?" In this way, even painful moments become stepping stones to greater wisdom. Continuous learning also protects her from stagnation. Many people repeat the same year of life over and over, never evolving because they resist change. But she embraces change as an essential part of growth. When new technologies, ideas, or cultural shifts arise, she adapts, learns, and evolves rather than clinging to the past. Her flexibility allows her to remain strong in uncertain times. Just like water, which adjusts its shape to every container yet always remains itself, she uses learning to stay grounded while flowing with the changes of life. Another mark of her intelligence is the way she shares what she learns. Knowledge, if kept only for oneself, is incomplete. She recognizes that true wisdom blossoms when it is used to help others. Whether by mentoring, guiding, or simply living as an example, she spreads the benefits of her learning in her community. Her presence inspires those around her to grow as well, creating a ripple effect of education and awareness. Through this habit, she demonstrates that intelligence is not measured by how much one knows, but by the willingness to always remain a student of life. She learns, unlearns, and relearns without fear, because she knows that the mind, like the body, must stay active to remain strong. Continuous learning keeps her youthful in spirit, resilient in challenges, and wise in her choices, making it one of the most powerful habits of a truly intelligent woman. Emotional balance is one of the quiet strengths that reveal the true intelligence of a woman. Many people believe that intelligence is only about logic or knowledge, but without mastery over emotions, even the brightest mind can be clouded and misled. A highly intelligent woman understands that emotions are natural and necessary, but they must be managed with awareness. She does not aim to suppress her feelings or deny them, but instead she learns to observe them, understand them, and respond with wisdom rather than react out of impulse. This inner harmony becomes her shield in times of conflict and her compass in times of uncertainty. When difficulties arise, she does not allow herself to be carried away by anger, fear, or sadness. She feels these emotions fully, but she does not let them dictate her choices. Instead of exploding in frustration or withdrawing into despair, she takes a breath, creates a moment of distance, and chooses a response that reflects balance and strength. This ability to remain steady when others are drowning in emotion is what makes her presence calming to those around her. People naturally trust her because they sense she will not be easily shaken or controlled by mood. This emotional balance is not a gift she was simply born with. It is a skill she has cultivated through practice. She may meditate, reflect, or spend time in silence to reconnect with herself, recognizing that self-awareness is the first step to mastering emotions. By naming what she feels and tracing it back to its cause, She disarms the emotions' power to overwhelm her. In this way, she transforms inner storms into lessons about herself. She learns to recognize patterns, to see where her fears come from, to understand what triggers her anger, and to soften the places in her heart that once held pain. Because of this balance, her relationships flourish. Instead of speaking out of anger and regretting her words later, she communicates with patience and clarity. She listens carefully, even in disagreement, because she knows that reacting with hostility only creates more distance. Her calm nature invites dialogue instead of conflict, resolution instead of division. She shows others that strength is not in controlling people, but in controlling oneself. In her presence, arguments lose their fire, and problems become easier to solve because she does not add unnecessary heat to the situation. Emotional balance also allows her to face success and failure with the same dignity. She does not become arrogant when she succeeds, nor does she fall into despair when she fails. She understands that both joy and sorrow are temporary, and she does not attach her identity to either. This gives her resilience, allowing her to move through life's ups and downs without losing her center. Just like a tree that bends with the wind but does not break, she adapts to emotional storms without being destroyed by them. In mastering her emotions, she demonstrates that true intelligence is not only about thinking clearly, but also about feeling wisely. Her balance creates peace within herself and harmony with others, making her a source of stability in a world that is often restless and chaotic. Purposeful communication is one of the habits that most clearly distinguish a highly intelligent woman from others. She knows that words carry power, the power to heal, to inspire, to guide, and also the power to harm or destroy. For this reason, she does not speak carelessly or out of impulse. Instead, she chooses her words with intention, aware that once spoken, they cannot be taken back. Her speech is not filled with unnecessary noise or empty chatter. It is measured, thoughtful, and guided by a desire to bring clarity rather than confusion. This makes her voice respected, for people sense the depth behind her words. In daily life, she communicates not to impress, but to express. She does not feel the need to dominate conversations or prove herself with loudness. Her confidence is quiet, and it comes from the strength of her inner clarity. When she speaks with purpose, ensuring her message reflects respect, truth, and compassion. Those who listen to her are often struck not just by what she says, but by how she says it calmly, with presence, and without unnecessary exaggeration. She understands that true communication is not about how much you say, but how much meaning you bring to what you say. Purposeful communication also means she listens deeply. Many people hear only to respond, but she listens to understand. This listening habit makes others feel seen and valued in her presence, and it allows her to grasp not just the words being spoken, but also the emotions behind them. She listens not with impatience, waiting for her turn, but with openness, creating space for others to reveal themselves. In this way, her intelligence is reflected not only in the wisdom of her speech, but in the depth of her listening. She also understands that silence is part of communication. She does not rush to fill every pause with words, because she knows silence can sometimes communicate more than speech. By holding space, she allows reflection to emerge, both in herself and in others. This is why her conversations often carry weight, because they are not driven by urgency, but by presence. She uses silence as a way to ensure that when words finally come, they are aligned with her values and the truth of the moment. In moments of conflict, her purposeful communication becomes a tool for peace. Instead of reacting with harshness, she speaks with firmness yet respect. She avoids words that wound and instead chooses those that can resolve, uplift, or bring balance. This habit gives her the ability to de-escalate tensions, to transform disagreements into dialogue, and to turn misunderstandings into lessons. Her words become like bridges, connecting hearts rather than dividing them. Ultimately, her communication reflects her intelligence because it aligns with her values. She knows that wisdom is not proven through long speeches or clever arguments, but through words that serve a higher purpose. Whether she is encouraging a friend, guiding a colleague, or speaking in public, her intention is always to bring clarity, truth, and growth. In this way, her purposeful communication becomes not only a habit, but also a reflection of her inner discipline and balance, leaving a lasting impact on everyone she encounters. Service to others is one of the most profound habits of a highly intelligent woman. She understands that true intelligence is not meant to be locked away for personal gain, but shared in ways that uplift and empower the people around her. Knowledge and wisdom, when kept only for oneself, remain incomplete, but when they are used to benefit others, they transform into something greater, into legacy. A highly intelligent woman does not measure her success only by what she achieves, but also by the positive difference she makes in the lives of others. This habit of service does not mean she sacrifices herself to please everyone. Instead, it comes from a deeper understanding that the well-being of the community is connected to her own. She knows that when she lifts others, she also rises. Her service can take many forms. Sometimes it is guidance and mentorship. Sometimes it is compassion and kindness. And sometimes it is simply setting an example through the way she lives. Even in small acts, like offering words of encouragement, listening to someone in pain, or sharing her knowledge, she contributes to a ripple of goodness that extends far beyond what she can see. The intelligent woman also recognizes that service requires humility. She does not help others to display her superiority or to gain recognition. Instead, she serves quietly with sincerity, often without expecting anything in return. This humility strengthens her relationships because people feel her authenticity. They know that her support is not driven by pride, but by genuine care. In this way, she inspires others not only through her words, but through her actions. Service also deepens her own growth. By teaching, she learns more. By giving, she receives insight. By caring for others, she discovers new strength within herself. She understands that selfishness leads to isolation, while service builds connection. And connection, for her, is part of living wisely. Through service, she sees humanity as an interconnected web, where every action has an impact. This perspective keeps her grounded, reminding her that intelligence is not about being above others, but about being useful to others. In times of crisis, her service shines even brighter. Where others may withdraw or protect only themselves, she steps forward to contribute what she can. She does not always solve the whole problem, but she does what is within her power, knowing that even small acts of service carry meaning. This courage to serve, even when it is inconvenient, reveals the depth of her character. It is here that her intelligence merges with compassion, creating a rare strength that inspires those who witness it. Ultimately, her habit of service reflects her understanding of purpose. She knows that a life lived only for oneself is shallow, but a life lived in service becomes meaningful. By dedicating her energy, wisdom, and care to others, She plants seeds that will grow long after she is gone. This habit, perhaps more than any other, demonstrates the fullness of her intelligence, not in how much she knows, but in how much she gives. When we reflect on the habits of a highly intelligent woman, we see that her greatness does not come from extraordinary gifts or rare opportunities. It comes from the discipline she cultivates, the clarity she practices, the balance she maintains, and the service she offers. Each habit is like a thread, and together they weave a fabric of wisdom, strength, and grace. She shows us that intelligence is not about how much information we can collect, but about how we live with awareness, purpose, and harmony. Her clarity of thought allows her to see life without illusion. Her discipline gives her the structure to grow steadily, day by day. Her love for learning keeps her spirit young and her mind sharp. Her emotional balance allows her to face storms without losing herself. Her purposeful communication brings truth, healing, and inspiration to others. And finally, her habit of serving reminds us that intelligence reaches its highest form when it is shared for the benefit of all. This kind of intelligence is not loud, it is not showy, and it is not in need of constant validation. Instead, it is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted, like a strong tree that provides shade and shelter without demanding recognition. In a world often filled with noise, comparison, and competition, the intelligent woman teaches us another way, a way of depth rather than display, of substance rather than appearance. The lesson for all of us, whether man or woman, is that these habits are not beyond our reach. They are practices available to anyone who chooses to live with awareness and discipline. True intelligence is not reserved for a few. It is a path open to all who are willing to walk it. Each of us can train our mind for clarity, our body for discipline, our heart for balance, and our spirit for service. And so, the life of a highly intelligent woman becomes not just an example, but an invitation to refine ourselves, to rise above distraction, to live with integrity, and to use whatever intelligence we possess to contribute to a better world. When we adopt these habits, we discover that intelligence is not something we chase. It is something we live,